I said to the CEO,
Did you say?
the Chinese are listening to my mobile phone conversations that I have in Jamaica. What do you think her answer would be? What do you think her answer should have been or should be? Her answer was, we know. Keep in mind that the telecommunications is so high secure in your intelligence and in your personal life that anything going over those lines, be it by your credit cards, your banking, your voice, is going over those lines. So when she said we know, I thought she would deny it. When you deny it, if I was sitting there, if I was, I'd be denying it. I'd say, no, that's not true. We monitor this.
Were you stunned by that revelation?
Was I shocked by that?
Yes.
No, that's why I presented the question.
And when was this? And when was it?
She, in fact, she's not the CEO now. This was probably 8 months. So I was here maybe about 6 months, 7 months.
Into your tenure?
Pardon?
6 months into your tenure is when this happened?
Yeah, when I had the conversation with her.
On what basis?
What basis?
On what basis you said to her that your conversation was being listened to?
I just said to her, just off the cuff, of knowing that they were Huawei, you bait me.
From the white man. And now we're handing over that freedom to the yellow man. When I was in Jamaica, 2015, I keynoted National Heroes Week, Irie FM and Ocho Rios and Marcus Garvey's back, me and Muta Baruka, actually. And while I was in Jamaica, I heard all these rumblings about the Chinese. And I've been to Jamaica before and I've seen the Chinese. But in studying what they have done since my last visit, I was astounded and appalled to find out that they had made so much inroads into controlling and influencing the infrastructure of the Jamaican people. The Chinese built a road from Kingston, one side of the island, to the other side of the island. And in exchange for the roads that they built, the Jamaican government, unless this has changed since then, gave the Chinese total control over the toll money that will be made by people using the Northwest or East-West Highway. Why would you give a foreign power complete monetary control of the tolls on this road that you know half of Jamaica gonna be using? You're talking millions of dollars of revenue you're giving to the yellow man just because he built the road. In addition to that, the Chinese are building it's probably done by now. They were building at that time 2 schools, and they were bringing Chinese educators over to help the Jamaican people educate black children. They built the Children's Hospital, which is supposed to be largely staffed with Chinese. They also gave the Chinese total control of all tourism on both sides of that highway that goes from one side of the island to the other. I was also told that they gave the Chinese the right to drill in natural rainforests in the Jamaican on the Jamaican territory for Chinese exploitation. They'd given them tax abatements, and they also purchased, if I'm not mistaken, the port, the main port of Jamaica.
All right, they own the port.
Is owned by the Chinese. Exactly. If another race owns your port, that means they control what's coming in. They control what's going out. What about the drugs? What about the guns? What about the COVID? You don't know what them people bringing in. And you mean to tell me that the Chinese care so much about Jamaican people that they're not going to educate our kids and take care of their health? Chinese don't care about black folks. Go to China. Go to China and see how they treat black people in China. So to me, what I think this is the government of Jamaica, like so many African governments, so many other Caribbean governments have done. They've gotten in bed financially with the Chinese. The Chinese have studied the way the white man has practiced neocolonialism throughout Africa. And the Chinese has learned that these black leaders don't really care about their people. They're all about their pockets. So I'm going to do what the white man did, but I'm going to do it one time better. I'm going to offer them double the money. You let me take over this land right here. I'll get the white man offer you $1 million. I'm offering you $3 million. And I'm going to build you a retirement home. And I'm going to pay for all your kids to go to college in China. You follow what I'm saying? And I'm going to give you a private military. So the Chinese have basically become neocolonialists 2.0. They're outdoing the Europeans. You follow me? And they're giving Caribbean and African leaders offers that they can't refuse. And guess what? When you abdicate on that loan that they give you, because all this is loans. These are not handouts. It's all loans. When you abdicate on the loan in that contract, you have to give them large concessions of land and large concessions of your economy. There's an African country right now. Is it Uganda? There was an African country who defaulted on their loan to the Chinese, and they now own their national airport. I forget which, they own the airport now because they couldn't pay back the loan. The Chinese know what they're doing. The problem we have as African people is we tend to think anybody who's not white is a friend of ours. Nobody is our friend, not the Arab, not the Chinese, not the Latino, except the African Latinos who identify with us, not the East Indians, not the Native Americans. We don't have friends, but black people have been.
They say China is trying to colonize Africa under disguise of economic cooperation. So what do you see as real neocolonialism?
Well, that kind of explanation is difficult to understand. Well, first of all, China has not dropped bombs on any territories anywhere in the world in the effort to steal the resources of those territories. China has not done that. China's attitude has been genuine friendship with the African people and indeed with all the peoples all over the world. In our most difficult periods, we counted on China. We stood shoulder to shoulder with China in combating racism, even in its worst form of apartheid.
Yeah.
The National Liberation Movement in Africa enjoyed considerable support from China and so on. So China is a friend. China is a brother. And China's understanding of Africa is not based on a hierarchical structure of masters and servants. It's based on a structure of mutual friendship and the development of the entire world for the prosperity of all the peoples of the world.
We suffer every day. Can you imagine? We have been here for centuries and we're still lagging around. If we to start a business in Jamaica, it's one of the hardest things to start a business. While the Chinaman come from China, come to Jamaica, start a business, non-tax for 5 years. And by the time the 5 years come when him to start pay tax, he making cousin and he never and his uncle come and him gone. So and listen, this have been happening for centuries. So this have nothing to do with PNP or JLP. And you know at the end of the day, none of them no want to fix it because all of them want us to, the black man, to stay at the...
It is wild that no one knows this is happening right now. So China have just hosted 50 leaders from Africa in Beijing. And keep in mind, Africa only has 54 countries. So it's fair to say that China pretty much invited the entire continent, making it one of the largest diplomatic gatherings in years. And for some reason, we're not even really hearing about it. You see, the reason for this is Africa has a huge amount of resources that the rest of the world needs. And for a while now, China have been making huge strides in becoming their best friend. Like, they have been investing staggering amounts of money in Africa's development. But recently, because of China's slowing economy, that funding is kind of staggered a bit. So, classic, sneaky America sees this, and now they've jumped in, and now they want to be best friends with Africa too. So the US starts whacking out their checkbook to counter China's influence because both of them need the resources. Both need it to power this green energy transition. So when China sees, the US trying to sneak in and move in on their best friend, they call a massive summit, and they make one message very clear: choose China. And they did this by promising leaders at the summit more than $50 billion in financial support over the next 3 years alone. The creation of over 1 million jobs, tens of millions in food and military aid, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg of what they promised. Africa is super hot property right now, and let's just hope that all the deals being made.
Thank you for this comment, because The intersection of classism, racism, and colorism in Jamaica is a much needed topic. And one of the things that I learned when I started looking into the history of all this is that integral to the whole concept of Jamaica's development post-colonialism was that we not talk about it. Do you understand? It was conditioned. It was a conditioning of the people to not discuss this. All the research on race in Jamaica talk about this silent topic that everyone knows, like everyone knows that this is happening and no one talks about it. And that's why anytime the issue comes up, you will see a whole bunch of people say, this has nothing to do with racism. This is an American thing. We have classism, yes. We have colorism, yes. But there's no racism here. A bunch of people are running up and are not understanding the intersectionality that is going on. Classism, racism, and colorism are intertwined in Jamaica. One does not exist without the other. And they are all the children of white supremacy. They are all born out of white supremacist culture that was handed down to us through colonialism. It took the United States more than 150 years after independence to have its racial reckoning with the civil rights movement in the 1960s. Jamaica has not yet had its racial reckoning. We have not yet gotten to the point where the majority of the people who are being marginalized, the people who are being denied access to the resources of the country they call home, the people who every day are subjected to the ills of racism, classism, and colorism in Jamaica. We have not yet gotten to the point where these people en masse are prepared to stand up for their rights against the minority non-black elite. But I strongly believe that a racial reckoning will happen in Jamaica. It may not happen in my lifetime, but it has to happen because only for so long will a peoples endure oppression. And I believe we're still being oppressed. And just as African Americans stood up in the 1960s and said enough is enough, I firmly believe that this day of reckoning will come to Jamaicans one day.
What's up guys, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. My name is Dash Lifestyle. Kindly for watching me for the first time, remember to subscribe, like, share, and also comment. So guys, I hope you have watched that video from Dr. Umar coming out and say how Chinese, they are taking over Jamaica. And for so many years, Jamaicans, they have been complaining about the Chinese taking over their country. Most of Jamaicans, they are being oppressed by the Chinese. I remember I did a video of Chinese, how they are treating the local in Jamaica. The Chinese, they are employing the Jamaicans. It is a good thing to employ the local people. But the Chinese, they are employing Jamaicans. And in return, the Chinese, they are giving them low wages. And also the Chinese, they are not making them to be insured with the life insurance. So and also the Jamaicans, they are complaining about Chinese, they were disrespecting the workers, the Jamaicans worker. So this, with all this, it has made to Jamaicans coming out and complain about Chinese, how they are treating them in their own country, how the Chinese, they are taking over. And also the government of Jamaica, it has not yet do something to this crisis that Jamaicans, they are always crying about the Chinese immigrant. I know I cannot say the Chinese because in Jamaica we have a mixed race. Jamaica, it is a mixed race country. We have the Chinese Jamaica and also we have the Chinese immigrant. So I'm talking about the Chinese immigrant, not Chinese Jamaican. Because in Jamaica, we have so many, we have white Jamaica, we have black people who they are the majority, and also we have Indian Jamaica. So Jamaica, it is a mixed race. So I cannot just say the Chinese, I must say Chinese immigrant, because these are now the people who are taking over Jamaica. But not only in Jamaica, we have seen also in some Africa, the Chinese right now, they are scrambling to Africa. They are coming to Africa. They want African land by They are coming to Africa, they are promising them to give them more money, and this money they are giving them in form of loans. But in return, these people, they don't want their money back. These people, they want your land. They want African land, because they know that African land, it is, when you have African land, you have everything in Africa, because we as African, we know our land, it is blessed. Everything, it is coming from our land. We have gold, we have minerals, we have oil. So these people, they are scrambling for Africa, and that's why you have seen they are now fighting between the United States and the Chinese. They are now fighting to have Africa. But this is the new colonialism that it is going on to our black country, and it is now the right time for us, for a black leader. You have seen what Dr. Umar here has come out and say. The Chinese, they know that the African leaders, these people, they are easy to bribe them. They are not working according to the will of the people. These people, all they care, it is their stomach. It is how they are getting money. And that's why the Chinese, they are using our African leaders. They are bribing them. They are giving them more money so that they can betray us black people, so that they can sell our precious thing here in Africa, so that they can give it to the Chinese people. Because, and that it is true, you have seen what it is happening in some of the Caribbean country. You have seen what it is happening in Jamaica. The Chinese, they have been able to capture their leaders. Yeah, and it is all because of this cry. It is because of their leaders, because we have seen the Chinese, they are being allowed to operate in Jamaica. They are doing business in Jamaica for a period of 5 years. You can imagine, a foreigner is coming to your country, opening a business, opening a big store, opening a business, and he has been allowed to operate for 5 years with the government without paying tax. These people, they are tax-free for 5 years, and yet the local, they cannot skip even a day before paying tax. So because of that, it has led to so many businesses of Jamaicans, of the local people, shutting their businesses down, because there's too competition, because the Chinese, they are free, they can reduce their price, because they are not being given, they are not paying taxes for 5 years, so they can lower their price. And for them lowering their price, it will attract to so many people to come and shop in their business. By doing that, they are ending up killing the local businesses. And that's why right up to today, when you go to Jamaica, you will see the big businesses owner, the big stores, it is being owned by the Chinese. The big restaurant, it is being owned by the Chinese, simply because these people, they kill the local businesses. And it is all because of the government. It is because of the leaders who are betraying their fellow people. And because of that, it has made to a lot of Jamaicans crying. But that it is not only happening in Jamaica, also here in Africa. We have seen how the Chinese, they are coming in Africa. These people, they are employing our local people. And then after employing our local people, they are not respecting them. These people, they don't really respect the local. And these people, when they have the money, they usually go and invest it in their country. So these people, they are usually come in our country as a broke, as a poor people. They start business in our country. The government allow them to start the business. These people, when they are becoming millionaire, they cannot invest in our country. By the time these people, they are becoming millionaire, they will start to show the local disrespecting. They will start to disrespect the local, and then they will take their money and go and invest it in their own country. So this is to tell you that these people, they are now coming in form of a new colonialism. That's why these people, they are scrambling for the black country. In any of the black country which they have seen their land, it has mineral, it has gold, their land, it is appreciating to them. These people, they want it. And that's why you have seen the United States and Chinese, they are really they are really rushing to have this African country in their finger. So that is all what it is happening. And guys, kindly subscribe if you haven't subscribed, like this video, share, and also comment. See you on my next one. Bye bye.